Hello, this is Grinstar, and today I'd like to talk about something that keeps on tripping me up in most of my videos, is the sound volumes of things. I like to get into things, get into Bitwig, start it up, and just go and run the stuff, set it all up, have the sound all working, slap on something on the master channel, and then post the video. Real easy, real simple, or post it on SoundCloud. Real easy, real simple, and then go to SoundCloud, play it, and I find out it's probably 20% less in sound than originally intended. And there's a reason for that, is because I don't pay attention to certain things that they do in Bitwig by default. So one of the things that I don't pay attention to is this volume slider right here. I'm messing around, and it's negative 10 dB by default. So that means that it's naturally already quiet. So when I'm playing it, and I'm looking at the LUFS here and Velo, it's basically just this is just telling me how loud things are. And I kind of want to aim for this mark. So overall, kind of pretty good already sound-wise, right? So I shouldn't have to mess with it. My headphones that I'm listening to already kind of balanced out to already probably a loud thing, and it's only 30% down here, 31%, right? So pretty loud. Then we get to the master channel, and then we play it. Wait, it's down 22 decibels. Oh, that's because once again, and now it's back to the sound it should. So now my LUFS is down there. So what normally happens is I'll probably have to sit here and crank it up in this thing until I get the right, correct LUFS that I'm looking for. Pretty much negative 14, I think, is the universal standard on most services. And I'm wrong. Each one has a different cap, but I'm looking at YouTube. I think is negative 14. For its sound, otherwise they start capping your sound even additionally if it goes over, right? So it's already too loud, and then they start cranking it down so they don't blast their users' ears. So that's a 14, and then I forget on the master channel there's a knob over here. I mean, there's a volume over here, and it's normally a different thing. This is not the master mixer. Or maybe it is. Sometimes this is down to negative 10, by the way, or negative 2. So it also is affecting. And so when you do your export on here, this will affect your overall output of your channels. So therefore, it will reduce the sound even further. So you gotta and it's actually relevant because in the bounced track channels. So let's use that piano thing that we have going. Let's take a time selection tool. Let's trace it and let's bounce it. And let's do post fader. So it goes bouncing and it goes right into here. And it's pretty loud, actually. I wonder if they fixed stuff in version 5 that without me realizing it. Here we go. And that's not bad, and it's already negative 10, so if we bump that even more, like what we normally do, to a normal 1, it's actually pretty loud. But notice the LUFS hasn't changed much. That's because it's measuring it pre-fader. Again, that's before this thing hits. Also, so whenever you're checking stuff, check the master channel to see where it's landing at. See, that's really loud. So now it's back to negative 17. So if I grab this one. So there's a difference in it. So let me move it back up to the slider so we can get it a little bit more. So pre-fader 16, post-fader 12. And post-fader on this one, realistically, more sound coming through. And this was a bounce. So it should have exported to the master channel. So if we accidentally didn't pay attention to this and this was cranked down all the way to 10, and I do this from time to time, by the way, and I go and bounce another one, post-fader. Okay, so then we have another one. So it's sounding 17. So let's mute that one. Let's mute this one. So oh yeah, okay, that's why it was sounding loud. Post fader. I done screwed this up. Post fader, it's sounding quieter because basically we nailed it to negative 10. So if we look at the master thing, it should be really low. Look at that, negative 27. So that's what our bounce is. So we gotta crank it all the way back up. To get about 17, 18. And then that's once. So that's once this thing goes through. So if it's lower on here by any stretch of the imagination, check it, make sure that it goes in. This will affect when it gets bounced and actually reduces the sound that you get over here. And or when you export it, and it hits me a lot. So this video is not necessarily for people that already know this and already. There's a reason that it does it this way. It's because when you want to do mixing and you want to do mastering, you're gonna have room to play with increasing the volume. You're gonna increase some. You're gonna take some down. You're gonna cut some frequencies. You're gonna boost certain frequencies, and you're gonna get a target LUFS. And then that's what you want to do. And if you ship it out to other people, they're going to want to have some wiggle room to play around with. So realistically, there's always this headroom thing that people talk about of always mix and master your stuff at a little bit lower so that when you give it to like professional mixers, they get some more room to play around with. But if I'm just popping it straight out the Spotify, God forbid, or SoundCloud, in fact, people in Spotify that would get the 2 or 3 plays for the $20 probably a year I have to spend for the service. Anyway, that's that. And never mind. If you're putting it on SoundCloud or Spotify, you kind of want your true master levels there. So you wanna kind of pay attention to this little slider and where it's at before you kick out those exports. One of the things that I have to constantly do is check the export or you'll see me occasionally from time to time if something I'm worried about something, I'll check the LUFS. You don't have to use VLO2. There's other ones that actually work really well. And then also you can also see it in here what your actual decibel level is. See, it's 7.3. Which is weird because basically VLO2 is reporting a different number than what the decibel level is here. That could be post or something. I had it matching up, so something's really weird. It could be me messing around with it. Again, post fader. This is pre-fader. This is post-fader. This 25 here. So I turned it down. So incoming, it was one number. Post-fader, it's another number. Again, a good reason why to pay attention to what you're cranking and lowering over here. To make sure you're getting the right peaks. And also, it could be RMS. Yeah, so this is directly a difference between 10 pre-fader and post-fader. So I'm actually cranking it up 10 past whatever it's hearing individually, which is cranked up from here. So realistically, be very, very careful when you export your mixes, and you probably want to re-import them to something else to verify and check against what you're actually hearing. To get the right volume levels, because you could very well import it to SoundCloud or Spotify and it be 10 decibels lower than what you intended, and you're going to be wondering what happened. And it constantly, like me, I don't think about it. I just get the video or the song out, get really proud of it, finish it up, export it, boom, right to SoundCloud, and all of a sudden it's like small and people have to crank it up. And there's one of the songs on there by Zentorium Prime, I think, is the group, that if it gets played after, it's going to blow your speakers if you have one of mine cranked up. And then that song gets up, and that song is specialized to be loud, so it's like it'll blow speakers. So overall, I have to check my levels and go through and make sure that in SoundCloud it's also equally loud, so that basically people don't have to turn up their speakers to hear it. It's already well enough cranked up, and it matches what I intended. That's the other point. So the moral of this video is always check your levels to what you intend, because they may not always be there. And there's a setting for it in the configuration. Give me a second to find. Okay, I found it. In the settings, there is a default right here, new track volume, 10 decibels. So there it goes. That's where you have the setup for there. If you don't like it there, you want it 6, you want it 2, whatever you want, you change this, and it should change your track defaults. I keep it at -10 because I've been using Bitwig a while, and I just have to remember that when I go through the mixing and mastering that I crank these up to taste and do it. Yes, I know it probably can do it max, but I figure now that I know about it, I need to pay attention to it more, and it'll make me more aware as hopefully a producer to know my own software than to sit there and rely on something that should be default. And if I'm on somebody else's system, it may not be the default. So if I'm checking it, it's a better habit than if I just assume what the default is. Then I'll just crank out loud stuff and not know it's loud, because once again I'll trust the default and I won't be checking it. Get into a problem. So if that makes sense, it's good. So at any rate, hope you liked the video. Hope somebody it made sense to somebody other than me. Other than that, I mean, it makes perfect sense to me for my future self. I would just wish my past self could have watched this video and understood it. But realistically, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.